Welcome guys, Betty here with this delicious moist meatloaf featured right here on Carblessly Delicious, where tasty low-carb and keto-friendly recipes are uploaded every week, quick and easy to make. Well, let's go guys, are you ready? Well, meet me in the kitchen. As always, my friends, all the ingredients associated with this recipe are listed for you in the description. The first thing I'm doing here is dicing our onion and green pepper, and because we're going to combine them with our meatloaf without sauteing them first, we need to make sure that we dice them very finely. Now, if you prefer your cuts a little more chunky on the chunky side, then by all means go ahead and slice them as chunky as you like, but you'll have to saute them first to soften them slightly before you combine them with your loaf. And now that our veggies are prepped, we can get out our large mixing bowl and begin to combine all our ingredients together. Guys, your hands are the best utensils in the kitchen to get the job done. So if you have gloves, go ahead and pull out your gloves as well. You'll be mixing both wet and dry ingredients, and it can be quite messy. Starting with 2 large eggs. Then I'm going to also add a 1/3 cup of almond milk, 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard, a 1/2 cup of ketchup, season it with 4 tablespoons of Creole seasoning and 3 tablespoons of black pepper. And going in with our finely diced onions and green peppers. Guys, as we know, traditional recipes call for bread that's soaked in milk or either breadcrumbs to help bind the loaf together and to add moisture, which are both off limits. So we're going to kick the breadcrumbs to the curb, and to keep our loaf super moist and carblessly delicious, we're going to reduce the carbs by substituting the breadcrumbs with these pork rinds that come already crumbled. And guys, if you don't have the crumbled pork rinds on hand, that's quite okay. Here's 2 things you can do instead. 1, you can place the whole pork rinds into a food processor and crumble them that way. Or 2, you can place your whole pork rinds into a plastic Ziploc bag and using a kitchen mallet, crush the pork rinds until you get this breadcrumb texture like this here. Okay guys, with our hands, we want to combine the mixture together, being very careful not to overmix. Overmixing will actually cause the loaf to dry out and become pretty dense. So we want to use a gentle folding motion like this here till the eggs are evenly blended together with the meat, the veggies are well incorporated into the mixture, and the seasoning evenly distributed to diffuse its flavor throughout the entire loaf. And guys, speaking of flavor, I usually add Worcestershire sauce to my meatloaf, but that is totally optional, my friends, okay? And when it comes to following the steps in a recipe, the seasoning is always the most flexible part of the recipe, guys, where you can modify it any way that your taste buds so desire. The major thing is keeping our food low carb, and the wonderful thing is we don't have to worry about carbs when it comes to our herbs and spices. They don't contain carbs. And guys, you see this here? We want to make sure we tightly seal all the cracks in all the splits to prevent our loaf from cracking in the heat. I'm going to cover the dish with foil to lock in the steam, which helps to retain the moisture as our loaf cooks. In the oven, this baby goes, set at 375 degrees. The rule of thumb here is usually 1 hour for every 2 pounds of meat. I have 2.5 pounds here, so I'm going to allow her to bake for about 1 hour and 15 minutes or until your meat reaches an internal temperature of 160 degrees. While she's in the oven, guys, let's get started on our sauce. This sauce is so quick and simple, guys, but it adds such an amazing flavor to the meatloaf. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. in with a half a cup of unsweetened ketchup, a half a cup of sugar-free barbecue sauce of your choice, a quarter cup of Truvia brown sweetener, which is substituting our brown sugar, which doesn't spike your blood sugar, guys. Now guys, we're going to remove the meatloaf from the oven the last 20 minutes. I'm going to drain all the excess juice. As you see here, it tends to build up quite a bit. I'm going to drain it. Then we're going to spread our sauce over the top and put it back into the oven to cook for the remaining 20 minutes. Now the easiest and quickest way to drain the juices, guys, is to seal the foil back on tightly and just tilt your dish over the sink, allowing the juice to pour out from the sides. Okay, perfect. Now we can cover the top with our delicious sauce. Again, back into the oven for the remaining 20 minutes. This time, guys, we're going to leave our dish uncovered. Ooh, wee! There she is. Look how nicely the sauce caramelized across the top. How beautiful. I'm going to carefully remove her from the hot dish and place this baby over here. Let's allow a few minutes for our meatloaf to set before we slice her up and garnish her with our finishing touches. Oh guys, this meatloaf is so moist and tender. I'm slicing through this meatloaf like butter. Here she is, guys, presenting to you Miss Brown Sugar in all her splendor. Mouth-watering, tender, and the most moist, delicious meatloaf ever. And mind you, my friends, without using bread or breadcrumbs that are used in traditional recipes. Oh my, this is how I get down. When I'm plating my meatloaf, I lay it down on its side and I love to smother it in extra sauce. Oh, I know I'm not the only one. Come on now, leave me a comment. I want to know if you like to smother your meatloaf with the extra sauce, okay? Okay, now let's give it a taste. Absolutely delicious. The only thing lacking in this meatloaf, guys, are the high carbs. Definitely nothing lacking in texture, nothing lacking in taste. Give it a try, guys. I know you're gonna love it as well. Be blessed and give this video a thumbs up if you're a low-carb diva, king or queen in the kitchen, guys. Subscribe if you haven't done so already so that you can get low-carb recipes that are uploaded every week. And I'll see you in the next video. God bless you. Bye.